Welcome back to the what's this podcast called? Developer Talking, right? Talking
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 Developers.
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 Talking Developers. Welcome back to Talking Developers. We got some feedback that we should introduce ourselves. So my name is Jordan. I recently launched a game called Hiker the Robot. It's a 2D Metroidvania. Basically, all of us have made or are making 2D Metroidvanias. But yeah, that's me.
I'm Basti. I'm currently working on a game that's called Lone Fungus, and it's in early access.
I'm Stevie, and I'm making a game called Zappling Bygone.
And it's not out yet, right?
Depends when this episode airs.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not out yet.
All right, cool. So today's question, which is kind of a question but not a question, is why should you build a developer support group? I'm going to throw this over immediately to Sebastian and see what he has to say.
Yeah, so why you should make a developer support group is because it's super useful and it's how we basically met. So it's the reason why this podcast exists. But yeah, that's not the main reason. The biggest reason is, we're all solo developers, and it's really tough being a solo developer. We started by just interacting on Twitter with each other. And then one day we were just like, we should make a Metroidvania Discord, right? I think that's how it started.
Yeah, it was basically like I think a few of us were interacting with each other in like people's DMs, and then we started noticing a pattern of like, oh yeah, I spoke to that dev, and oh yeah, I've spoken to this dev too, and then we were just like, wait a minute, we're all just talking to each other, but in private. Why don't we just like get together and just have a Discord where we can share the information and because it might be relevant for other people, right? So that's kind of how it started.
We talk about marketing stuff, how to do marketing, like give feedback on different stuff for social media. We also have like basically we help each other out on social media sites. Like one of us might do like an announcement. My game is releasing in 2 weeks or something, and everyone in the Discord like retweets the tweet. So we help each other out in that way, like to boost ourselves a little bit and do cross promotion in the and it's ended up us doing like collaborations, like on the Steam page we're currently like showing linking to each other's games and doing cross promotion that way. Like there's a lot of stuff that's grown out of us just creating a Discord and talking to each other and getting to know each other, not just like marketing wise, but also game design wise.
And friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
me-
go on, Stevie, go on.
For me, the biggest part of this kind of community that we've created isn't the retweeting, and it's not like the support we give each other in terms of like trackable things. For me, it's mostly just like the community aspect. Like as a solo developer, like a lot of us are just in our rooms all the time, and you can speak to like obviously your loved ones and your friends and your family about it, but they're not really experiencing the same thing you are. But having a community that you can just bounce ideas off, and just some kind of accountability on a day-to-day basis when you want to share what you've been working on with people that kind of understand how hard it was to make, or can give good feedback. And it's just that kind of feedback loop where on a day-to-day basis you haven't got a team to bounce things off of, but it almost feels like a team in this community.
Yeah, that was quite strange, right? Because I think a lot of us said that when we started it. We were like, oh, this almost feels like I'm working in a team, but everybody's actually working on their own stuff. Like it's not a team game sort of thing. Like it's not a game built around a team. Yeah, it's interesting. But I totally agree. I think it's the the most beneficial part is having people that are in a very similar boat to us, like either solo or two people teams, right? I think the majority of us are working on our first games, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, you have that almost that sort of same level of experience and same, like nobody's too far ahead or too far behind, and it's more or less we're kind of all going on this journey at the same time, sort of thing, and it feels good.
You should also mention that it's not just us three. Obviously, it's a big, well, relatively big community of maybe I want to say 15 people. Of some more active than others, but it's not like it's not just us three. There's loads of indie devs, Metroidvania devs that you might have heard of that are in this community with us.
Yeah,
it's grown with time.
I mean, we've had like at least 50 people go through the Discord. I've done a few cleanups, but I think there's more than 50 people that have gone through it, because some people join and then they, it's not for everyone. They don't see the value in it and they just don't participate in anything. But yeah, it's
we haven't cleaned it up because of beef. Mostly because people have been inactive, and to keep
just
it like
inactivity.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of sensitive information that goes through the Discord, just like spoilers and stuff on the games that we're making, and we kind of obviously don't want people who are just lurking and in the Discord, because then you never know what someone is reading and recording. So it's good to keep it as like a tight knit group if you can.
And also I think the other thing that really helps us is that we're all making the same genre. So it's not like you have to take yourself outside of the mindset of your own genre to start thinking about, I don't know, simulation games or something. We're all making Metroidvanias. It's all massive maps with intricate sort of level design in that sense. So it's really easy to just be like, this is like quickly explain, like, this is what I'm doing. I want to get your thoughts on this and this. And they're already kind of in that mindset themselves already, so they can like, say, oh, well, I've done this or I've done that, and it just gives you like more perspectives on how to get things done.
Yeah, because we all run into similar like design problems, and
I think so, yeah.
Might be at different stages in on just an example, like one of us might have started working on a map system and someone hasn't started working on the map system. Then we can ask questions like, how did you do this? How did you solve this problem? And just like really helps a lot having being able to bounce ideas with people that are doing like similar things.
And I found it really interesting when you're about to tackle an issue in your game or like a complex thing, and you post in the Discord, and there's always like 3 or 4 people who have tackled it in slightly varying ways, or maybe even completely different ways, but have come to the solution in different ways, and then like that is ends up being really interesting because it opens your mind up to different aspects of how everyone's game is different, but how they fix design issues in different ways.
Yeah.
Should we talk about so there might be people listening and they're like, that sounds like a great idea, this Discord community. How would they go about creating one?
I think you should just first of all, you need to interact with other devs that are probably making similar games, or just like if you see a game that you really like, just interact with that dev and make friends, and you start just like we started. I think we were like 3 or 4 people in the beginning, right? That kind of like, so, yeah. We kind of joked about it. Let's start a Metroidvania Discord or something, and just do it. Like maybe you can. I mean, the proof is in this Discord that it's useful. So
proof is in the pudding.
I mean, Discord. I meant this podcast.
The proof is in the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't go like out of your way to force, like making friends
No.
and relationships. I think you should just look at the people you talk to or interact with most on like a daily basis on social media and stuff, and just reach out and be like, "Hey, what do you think if we put this together?" Because honestly, it surprised me so much that we were all talking to each other, but just in DMs. So when we all got into the Discord group, we were just like, "Oh, hey, I
Yeah.
know you, I know you, I know you." It was funny.
Maybe we can mention like some of the specific stuff that we do, like the stand-ups that we actually do like every day. We meet at a certain time in a voice channel and like go through basically what we're doing that day and show each other like the progress and talk about stuff like we have a EU stand-up and a American time stand-up, and that for me has been like super useful, and has basically
yeah, like an opportunity every single day where you know there's going to be at least a few people in the Discord that you can just jump in and talk to through voice and explain, like if you have like a complex issue that sometimes it's really hard to write in chat what this issue is, but jumping in voice and talking about it through voice is way that instant feedback is a lot more useful, and
Yeah.
knowing that there's an opportunity every single day to do that, I find that really helpful.
Me too.
So yeah, start your if you're a indie dev and you're a solo dev, you should definitely try to make a developer support group in any way possible, because it's really helpful.
And the biggest things, or not the biggest thing, sorry, I say that often, a thing to think about is when you reach out to other developers, and it doesn't matter if you're a small developer or you haven't got much following, every other indie developer I've spoken to who is much bigger than me in terms of like follower count and all that stuff, they're just nice people. They're just normal, nice people making games, and never feel intimidated if you just want to pop up in their DMs and say, "Hey, can we have a 20-minute voice chat?" And I want to just ask you some questions. Most of the time, they're like, "Yeah," like these people want to help because they've been in your shoes of having a small follower count and trying to get your game out there. And usually, of course, a lot of them are busy because with success comes more or less time. But yeah, just
Comes
don't.
more opportunity,
Yes.
which leaves you with less time.
Yeah. But yeah, don't be scared of reaching out to people. And you don't have to be like come full force, like, "Hey, let's start a Discord together." You can just be like, "Hey, can I just jump on a voice chat with you one day for 20 minutes? And maybe they'll say yes. And if they do, you get to pick the brain of someone who's successful and see how they did it. And it's super valuable information. And you build that relationship and you make friends.
Friends, yay!
Friends.
That's very valid. Like everybody I've spoken to, you see like these super large accounts and stuff like that, and you have like an interaction with them. There's like, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because we hold these people up so high as if they're not human or something, Like it's a hard. I don't know quite how to explain it, but it's like that they're kind of built differently or something, right? And then we reach out to them and they're just normal people like you, me, anybody. It's really, really peculiar how we
Yeah. In retrospect, it seems like it should have been obvious, but it's not. When you're reaching out to them, it's not obvious. And as soon as you speak to them, you're like, "Ah, yeah, human." Another human.
But I like this social media aspect most of all the game dev stuff. So like in the group, I think we have such a varied sort of group of people that some people are really good with like publishers and pitches, and other people are good with like social media and stuff. Some people are like super technical, so they will help with development issues or specific game engine issues. So I mean, I really don't, I can't praise making like a Discord group enough, to be honest. It's super helpful, especially when you're alone or in a small team.
Yeah. How long have we been talking for?
I think it's 20 minutes, isn't it?
20 minutes? That's cool. Would you like to hear a dumb reply? So,
Is this a dumb reply?
Let me explain what a dumb reply is. As devs, as you know, there's a lot of people out there who listen, who reply to you on social media, and it's usually like an offhand comment when they haven't really thought about it, or sometimes they're just not very clever people, or just arseholes, because they live out there, these arseholes.
Sometimes they don't even know that you're gonna read it. It feels like.
Yeah, it's like
That's
an offhand
so true.
comment.
And you respond to it, and they're shocked. But yeah, go on.
And we usually read these out to each other, or like send these out to each other just like jokingly, and we thought we might as well share them with you sometimes. So this is a reply to a comment I got on a Reddit post about how I declined a publisher deal. It says, "You turned down 100,000 because you might lose a little bit of control over your Carrion ripoff. You must already be pretty well off to make this decision. I hope."
Are you pretty well off?
No, I wish.
Wait, so repeat that one more time.
You turned down 100,000 because you might lose a little bit of control of your Carrion ripoff. You must already be pretty well off to make this decision, I hope.
Well, first of all, Carrion's red.
Yeah, true.
Your character's green.
Yeah. I mean,
Carrion
how can it be a
ripoff?
ripoff when it's green?
I don't think I've heard you say that. I don't think you've had this comment of being called a Carrion ripoff before, have you?
Yeah,
I've
that
had it,
hasn't
like-
happened.
I've had comparisons a few times, but anyone who looks at my game for 5 minutes and then looks at Carrion for 5 minutes can obviously see it's an entirely different game. But this is just like one of those offhand comments where someone literally just sees tentacles, pixel art tentacles, and they're like, "Ha, you're ripping them off." And they don't put any more thought than that into it.
You're ripping off hentai games.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
What do you think of that, Basti?
Yeah, it's not the worst comment. I feel like there's been way worse comments than that one. But yeah, it was pretty stupid. And
Was
like saying no to $100,000, they don't know all the details and stuff maybe. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more comments that I can go to in this thread that are way worse and way more personal attacks.
Where did you say you got that comment? On Reddit?
Yeah, this was a Reddit post where I just explained the fact that I had turned down a publishing deal, and apparently that's illegal.
yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, I just think that these people don't understand like what goes into these contracts, and how if you're not careful and you don't read the fine print, let's say, is like they can put you in a very sticky situation, and if you negotiate those terms and they don't want to move on those terms, like they don't want to change them, then yeah, it's kind of a red flag, isn't it?
I think a lot of the comments are from people, like you said, haven't seen a contract before and don't really know what goes into these kind of negotiations and these publishing agreements. And not to say there's anything bad in the contract at all, but what they think is that they think it's just like free money. That's the way they look at it. They're like, $100,000? How could you ever turn that down? Because they think like in an instant they would accept it because it's a lot of money, which it is a lot of money. But when it comes down to the facts and to think deeper and to not even want to lose any control over your project, and even if that control is minuscule, that's a decision that I made, and it's a decision that that a lot of people on that thread thinks that I will regret. But they think that without having the full process that I've had.
I think it's respectable. Like having, it's not only about the control. Like signing with the publisher is kind of like you're not longer working for yourself entirely. It feels like. So I don't know. I personally value that a lot.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Like, the reason why I wanted to make a game by myself was so I didn't have to answer to anyone. You know, like in a previous job in a corporate position and stuff, you kind of have managers, hierarchical system, God knows what. And it's like, I feel like taking a publisher deal would be going straight back to that. So yeah, I totally agree with what Sebastian just said.
I think it's a big reason why a lot of people go into indie development is because they've had maybe programming jobs or software development jobs in big companies and just not enjoyed it and just lacked any creative input on what they're doing. And then when you're doing indie dev, the worry that you might even lose the tiniest part of that just gives you like PTSD.
Yeah. But I think this is almost another topic that we could discuss. So maybe we should cut it for here because I feel like we're going to go down that road and we'll never end.
Is there anything that we've missed about the actual podcast topic about creating a support group? That
I don't think so. If we
don't be scared. That's it. Do it. Don't be scared. It's useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like to recap the episode. Then it's like the benefits are, I mean, massive, right? You have a support.
There is no downside to it, basically.
Yeah, there's no downside. You have support, like moral support, like support on social media presence, support on the actual game and decisions that you're making in the game. You know, like even we've all play tested our games as well, so it's like it's all win-win basically.
Yeah, make your own community, help each other, and you will all make better games, and you can help promote each other's games, and it's all good.
And you can all hug each other.
Yay! All right, well that's it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you. Are we doing these weekly now? I guess next week, right?
Probably every Wednesday, I think.
We can try.
All right, cool. See you later, guys.
See you.
Bye.